I had a difficult childhood, but it was also a childhood that made me, because I found art. I thought I'd found soccer, believe it or not, but I actually found art, and art found me. And so it was a revelation at about the age of, well, from 11 onwards when I was at school, and then when I went to meet artists when I was at college, and that's 16, 17, that I found art. And I found art from an odd place, because I thought I was going to find art through painting, but I didn't. I met people that call themselves performance artists, and they practiced the idea of, instead of producing an object, they actually made the art through themselves, noise, physicality, etc., etc., but from the plastic art's point of view. So I came across performance art, which I liked because it was to do with time and movement and space. Things developed from there, from many years on the road, traveling, touring the States, Canada, Europe, and making performance art pieces. And then I incorporated video into my performances, because video was another form of time streaming. The beauty of art is whether it finds you and you become an artist, or what happens is you come across art, you reflect upon it as a person, and it does something for you. With me, it made me what I am, and I've lived my whole life through it, and I continue to do that. But that is not everybody. So it has two sort of specific aspects to it, I think. Either it guides you through life and you become immersed in it as an artist, or you view it as a viewer and it does something to you. It can have a very therapeutic, mental, medical aspect to it as well, in terms of guiding you through life. I had a show at the National Portrait Gallery in London in 2000. I was chosen out of 100 artists, each artist representing a year of the 20th century, including Picasso and all sorts of artists, Francis Bacon, etc. And I represented the year 2000. I showed a video, which was a video diptych of my two children. I filmed them over 11 years, every 3 months over 11 years, and I showed this piece on the wall of the National Portrait Gallery. And Stephen Hawkins, the physicist, came to see the piece of work in his wheelchair as such. And he loved the piece of work as such because it was to do with time, how time develops as a piece of art. So he saw the benefits of the piece of work as technology, but also art as well. And I introduced him to my children and that, even though he couldn't quickly obviously communicate. But I thought that was fantastic for me as well, because that, for me, it sort of ticked the box in terms of a very important person seeing the future as it's developing with technology and times. Been invited to Antarctica twice via the Argentine government, which has been a great honour to be able to do that. Staying on the research bases, flying out there with the military and that, which is what you have to do. What was great about that was that I was with research people, scientists, but also artists, staying on the bases, looking at the way the world is and the way the world can deal with conservation. What was an artist doing in Antarctica? Well, the idea was that it was about conservation and how you can make art in a sustainable way and not leave traces or horrible things upon the continent. Being a performance artist and being a video artist was perfect in a sense, because the performance does not leave traces necessarily other than footprints in the snow. And the video, of course, you can take away with you afterwards and leaves no traces. Yeah. With other artists as well, sound artists, visual artists, musicians, etc. as well. So that was a great experience, and I think also it's an interesting experience for the future in terms of where we are with climate change, conservation, and going forward. You know, if you like, in a sense, the part that artists can play in future developments for the planet and the conservation of it as well. I like this black chair by this black picture. I don't know why, I just do. Yeah.
So what's going on here?
Okay, so here we are on Governor's Island, and I'm doing a short residency with Transporter TV, invitation to be. It's great to be on board on Governor's Island because it's so different. And I've just written a book called Being in Time, Performance Art, which is very much about being in time and space as an artist. And so I thought, well, what can I start with, which would, in a sense, start that process of being here, being in time, being in space. And I thought, I'll start with two things. One is the thing that's on my head, which is my hat. There's another one here you can see, which is a sort of signature in itself for me, because I exist under the hat and everything comes out from under the hat. And the second thing was my signature. So I literally just started on the walls with my signature and started working with it. I've kicked off a process which I didn't know where it was going to go, and it's already starting to develop on Governor's Island. I thought the future of Marty St James was a person that would make very particular, specific pieces of art. And what I've found, which is a bit peculiar, is it's often better, and I think the future of me is about this, not to make art as a thinking process. Let it just arrive slowly, and if it works as a piece of art, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I am interested in the concept of embodying the whole thing. Art has made me what I am. I've made art what it is for myself, and until the day I drop off the edge, that's the way it will always be.
All right, be well. Looking forward to tomorrow.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Blah, 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 blah.